This is my issue 9. Should you associate yourself with an organization that has a history of scandal? And in the book, for yes, the example is college sports, which I think couldn't be more fitting because college sports are full of scandals. Um, the main problem in college sports, the biggest scandal of all, I guess, is that these athletes are not being paid. It's unpaid labor, and companies and corporations are making billions off of them. Universities are making billions off of these college athletes who don't get paid for playing and for doing their part. So obviously we associate ourselves with college sports in various ways. I mean, whether you watch it on TV or you buy tickets and go to your local college to watch their games, or you buy Jordans, which came from a college athlete, or any other kind of athletic wear that is based off of these people. These corporations are profiting, whereas the athlete themselves are not. There's corporations are making big money off of the glory of these college athletes. And in 2010, Reggie Bush's family, he was allegedly given improper benefits, including airfare, rent-free homes, cars, limousine rides. All of these things were given to them in exchange for using his name for these things. So this was a scandal. And yet we are associated with it. We still watch college sports. We still buy the tickets. We still support our favorite teams. Also, at least 28 players in 2010 had traded autographs and jerseys for tattoos and money. That's just another scandal within it. But we supported these players. We went and watched them play. We tuned in on TV to watch them play a game, when in reality only about 2% of college athletes are drafted to the NBA or NFL, which is crazy because that's 98% of these college athletes that are not. They're not getting paid for their work, for their playing on these teams, and yet these corporations are profiting from them. However, even in exploiting young athletes, the NCAA states that their scholarships are their payment. This free education that they're being given to play sports is payment for them playing, which is why they get away with it, why we can still associate ourselves with college sports. Because in a way they are getting paid. They're getting an opportunity that a lot of students don't get. A lot of young adults don't get because of money. So the money that they would be paid to play is being paid towards their education. Also, the NCAA has rules. They have strict guidelines, and if you don't follow those guidelines, then you don't play. So that's how they get around the scandals, because they enforce these policies and they do pay your education. So even though these corporations are making billions of dollars off of a college athlete who's getting $50,000 a year paid towards their education, it's not a scandal in that sense because they are getting their compensation as well. And so as Americans, we feel that that's right and that we can keep supporting this organization and be a part of this organization. I also said no for corporate social performance. I think that the policies and practices that are related to social responsibility and to their stakeholders, these things attract employees. The treatment of employees and the treatment of one's community for a job is a big deal to an employer. If I'm looking at two companies that have similar pay, similar benefits, similar hours, what's going to differentiate the two? And that would be their corporate social responsibility, how they treat their community, what do they do for the environment, what do they do to reduce costs and to improve the life of their employees. So I think corporate social performance is a strategic mean to address the ever-evolving demands of stakeholders. Right now, being green is a big trend all across the world and in just about every industry that there is. So that kind of gives companies a leg up. And if they were involved in scandal or in greenwashing or faking these corporate social performances, then they want to attract the right employees. They want to attract people who are going to better their company and give their all to them. A strong corporate social performance shows that this organization could be prestigious and have higher quality, and it's just more attractive to the employers. The reputation of the company goes a long way. You want to be proud of where you work. You want to stand up and say, yeah, I work for Walmart and we cut energy costs 50% every year, or we allow our employees to recycle on their own means, or we recycle within our break rooms, or whatever it may be. Their corporate social performance is what stands out. It makes you proud to be a part of that company. Whereas if you had a company that, say, stole $2 million from their taxes, never paid it, and this was well known within the world, then when someone asks you, hey, where do you work? You're going to be ashamed of that. You're not going to want to tell them, I work for a company that just scammed the United States out of $2 million. It goes a long way for reputation as an employee and as an employer. You want to be proud of your company, and you want to attract people who will try to live up to that good name. So I think it shows the concerns of other companies and the community, which if you were full of scandal and had different scandalous activities that have taken place within your company, then that doesn't say much for you as far as caring for other people. You were looking out for yourself, and you did what you had to do despite the effects that it has on either your employees or your community or your environment for that matter. So that's my yes and no for should you associate yourself with organizations that have scandals. In my opinion, I would try to avoid doing so. I wouldn't want to work for a company that did another company wrong, or hurt their employees, or took away from their employees just to better themselves. I don't know anyone who would want to work for a company like that unless they were helping rebuild it. So I think it's important that you keep scandal out of your business life. You should do the right thing. You should be ethical in your decision making. And as far as like the NCAA goes, there are ways around those scandals, and there's always going to be people that support companies with or without scandals. So as an employee, I think it's important for you to decide what's right for you and associate yourself that way.